From the start, the Freedom Fridays movement has been about making change while having a bit of fun. In that vein, tomorrow I'm going to march with some of my dearest friends in support of women's rights. Right after that, I'm going to join more friends for my favorite craft beer festival. While this seems like a perfect day to me, it did make me wonder about the history of marching as a form of protest in America. Why do we march? It is an effective way to bring about change in our country, and it is a cornerstone of the First Amendment to the Constitution. Americans have been protesting in different ways since the first pilgrims were unsatisfied with the way they were being treated in Europe and marched across the ocean to settle in a new world. Throughout our history, our citizens have taken to the streets to march. Whether they march to ensure their right to vote, to secure their civil rights, to protest wars, to protect our citizens, to encourage community involvement and activism, or to promote common sense gun regulations, marching has always brought about change. We all have a civic responsibility to be engaged in our government. It is not a spectator sport. Marching is just one way to show your support or opposition. As Americans, we should welcome all nonviolent forms of activism. March with me tomorrow if you can, and if you can't, know I am marching for you. Support the Women's March by making an impactful donation to www.womensmarch.com. Check out our website, www.freedom-fridays.com, for more impactful donation suggestions. We have one more month to make an impact, so please donate. Welcome to my good friend Mike. He is here today on our Freedom Fridays number 15, and we are going to talk about craft beer. But first, Mike, I love your shirt. It says, "Hold my beer, George Washington." And I'm a history girl, so you know I love that. Did George Washington actually say that?
Well, I know George Washington definitely drank a lot of beer back in the day, so I'm pretty sure he did say that.
Okay, and I think I need a shirt that says, "Hold my cocktail, Martha Washington," because I'm sure she probably loved a good cocktail back in the day. Mike knows more about beer than anyone I know, I think, and we've been drinking beer together since our college days, and he is my expert on that. So, Mike, why don't you tell us about some beers that we're going to drink today and introduce our viewers to craft beer?
Well, I don't know about expert, and you know, it's such a big topic now with the beers. There are just so many of them. If somebody tells you that they don't like beer, they're just not trying to like beer. I tried to do some scattershot samples to kind of give everyone an idea, and I stayed with American-based, you know, mostly semi-local or, you know, but all U.S.-based beer.
Okay.
So the first one we have is the Crazy Pilsner. Is a nice, crisp beer. It's very difficult to make because it's a lager beer. You can't hide behind a lot of flavorings and that kind of thing. You know, very few ingredients. If you make any mistakes, it's apparent. So really easy drinkable. This one's a Czech Pils. Just all of those styles originated way back. You know, Egyptians and people have been drinking beer for centuries. So a lot of European styles they started making in the U.S. and then the creativity of Americans has taken over, and now there's just countless styles to try.
So are we gonna try them? All right. So this is.
Yep, that's the Pils here. You'll notice it's a very clear, clean-looking beer. It'll be a little bit spicy. You should get some spice notes, but very clean and crisp. Very low alcohol, fairly low alcohol.
Okay.
Cheers.
Ooh, that's nice.
So the next one we have, you know, kind of going up the scale, another lager, just to sort of demonstrate the versatility of styles. Lager, it's going to be a little bit darker. You can see this one is an Oktoberfest for the season. You know, sort of close to a Vienna lager. It's a Märzen style. Also, you can tell it's very clear again.
Right.
You know, not a lot of
You know, like haze.
cloudy, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Which we're going to get into in some of these other beers.
Okay.
But you should be able to taste some breadiness and biscuity given to the malt. You can see that it's a little bit darker. That's the malt coming through for that.
All right, let's try it. Oh, that one's very nice too. Yeah, a little bit more of a fall flavor. Oh, 3 more beers. It's magic.
The magic of video
Yes,
editing, right?
Exactly. All right, so Mike, what do we have next?
So now I have more. We're going to sort of the pale ale IPA kind of drink, moving up in the scale, and IPAs are very popular among beer drinkers. But again, within that, there are many different styles. So the first one here is the Dale's Pale Ale, one of Dale's favorites. But you know, it's a higher alcohol pale, 7%. You know, it's not a typical pale ale, but you could see that this one is also clear. You know, and it's got a little bit more maltiness. That's given it the copper color there.
All right, let's try it. I mean, I've had this one before because it's my husband's favorite beer. One of them.
So, pale ale IPA, you're going to get some hops in there. It's going to have a nice round flavor, mouthfeel from a little bit higher alcohol and the hops and malt balancing nicely.
Right, to Colorado. Okay.
Next we've got a OG IPA, Sculpin. It's a West Coast. You know, those were some of the more popular original
Right,
IPAs. You're going to get more bitterness, prickly, but you know, this one is very popular, very highly rated. So I wanted to include that as part of the original style. But you should definitely see, you know, more bitterness. I think this one is also you know, in the 7% range. So
Okay.
Yeah.
But the West Coast IPAs are a little bit more bitter than others, is what you're
right,
saying?
we're going to get into
Okay.
another one. Yeah.
Cheers. I think the West Coast IPA was the first IPA I ever had.
That was
that's
my
nice.
favorite, so I'm gonna.
Oh, woohoo! I don't know if I can throw mine back that fast, but okay.
This is one of my favorite styles. I
Oh,
just
that's
like the
nice.
bitterness.
But it's
I think-
smooth still.
Yeah, I think
Bitter,
a lot
but
of
smooth.
times one of the things when you're tasting beer, you want to have a little taste. You get some flavors and things, and then another taste because you'll get different flavors, and your palate will be conditioned to that beer.
I see.
Sometimes the bitterness is a little bit off-putting at first, but then you get your
Right.
palate set, and it's really,
And then you
really
can
good.
drink one after the other, right? Okay, so moving on, what is this
Right.
last beer?
One we have Master of Karate. It's from another local brewery, Aslan.
Nice.
This is your New England style IPA. So now you see the haziness, not clear at all. You got the
right.
particulates in there. You know, a lot of stuff in the can. This is a double IPA, which means usually twice as much hops. But with these New England IPAs, they're not all bitter. You'll get some tropical notes, and sometimes they'll be like an orange juicy flavor, more juicy. But you know, the higher alcohol, this is in the 8% range, is going to round out, add some sweetness and a really good mouth feel for
All
it.
right, cheers. Oh yeah, that's nice.
You don't want to.
That's
Pound
very
this one, but-
complex. I mean, the reason I like cocktails is because of the complexity, but I mean, this, you don't even have to work for it. It's all in there already. You just open the can or the bottle that has a lot of different complexities of flavor. That's really nice.
Yeah, these are the current darling of the industry. You know, every brewer is making them, it seems, and a lot of people really go for, especially the double IPAs and the triple IPA, or the crown jewels that people really go after. So moving on, you know, to some darker beers. And beers can be seasonal. They're beers for spring, fall. You know, everyone loves pumpkin. So I brought this Pumpkin, which is super popular as far as, you know, beers go. You'll taste this one.
Does it taste like pumpkin?
It definitely has a lot of pumpkin.
Oh, yeah, I can
it's a
smell it.
little bit sweet for my taste. That usually also is higher in alcohol, but people love this beer. It sells out a lot. So
Okay, well thanks
I
for
wanted
bringing
to-
it. Oh, that definitely tastes like fall.
Let's start with this stout. This one is a nitro stout in the style of Guinness. I mean, the beer isn't made like Guinness, but the nitro part. It's tiny bubbles.
Ooh.
You'll see the, you know, the explosion of the gas, the nitrogen, and then, you know,
That looks like milk chocolate.
yeah, I think you're really gonna like that one.
Or is it chocolate milk? I've had too many beers to know. Wow.
I
Look at
think
that.
this is around 6%. Yes, it is. You know, the tiny bubbles give it a great creamy mouthfeel. Little known fact is that Guinness is about the same alcohol as a Miller Lite. So you can drink those all day and not feel too guilty also.
Right, so here's to no
Switching
guilt.
gears.
Yeah, no
Let's
guilt.
have a stout.
No guilt. Cheers. Cheers to the Irish. Oh, that's
Get the
lovely.
sweetness there and good mouthfeel. A little more of this one.
It's really delicious. It's
Yeah.
almost like a dessert, but you know, it's a beer.
Guinness will be a little less sweet than that, but you know, really great standard beer to have. Next up, continuing the stout line and then just sort of the variations of styles. This is a stout, imperial stout, so you know, think double the alcohol, or I think almost at 12% here.
Right.
Sometimes you take these and put them in like a snifter so you can savor it a little bit. You'll notice very little foam, you know, higher alcohol and a little bit of aging, not as carbonated, not as much zest on the tongue, but.
And what is this one called?
This is from Boulevard. It's s'mores stout,
Ooh.
more s'mores. And so just to illustrate the different styles and how they can vary, you know, we're taking an imperial stout and we're putting like marshmallow, chocolate, graham cracker flavor. So you should get a whole bouquet of things.
Right. Now that
you
really,
get it.
that really tastes like a dessert.
Yeah.
Like that's a full s'more in liquid
And that's
form.
why, you know, you might want to put it in a nice glass to savor
Right.
and just sit with it a little bit. You can feel the warmth of the higher alcohol.
Okay, I'm gonna drink more of that later. That's really good. Okay.
Just one more left, you know, way switching gears, you know, totally different genre. There's a lot of different fruit beers out there. Fruit beers can be added to lagers. They can be day drinking beers, you know, so that's another genre and different styles that there are fruity IPAs, all different kinds of things. This is a fruited sour, so sour is another style of beer. You know, you're really going to get some sour taste, and this is where it's important to have a taste and let it set in and then have another taste. But you know, lower alcohol, totally switching gears from the stouts, but it should be able to clean your palate.
Okay, you know, this might be the first sour I've ever had. Cheers. Wow, that's pretty nice.
Again, I just want to go back to people that say they don't like beer, just really haven't taken the time to explore. You know, there's so many options. You can find one that you like. You know, talk to your bottle shop and people, your experts. Just like voting also, It's a sort of creative endeavor as far as like the brewers, so you have to stay on top of the different beers and styles. There could be new things, just like the issues that arise.
Right.
And you know, trying beer, just like you have to try and make an attempt to vote. There's some work to it. So
Right.
I encourage everyone to get out and try some beers and you know, definitely vote.
Right, definitely vote. And Mike, thanks for doing some crafts with me today. I think that our viewers will appreciate all of your knowledge on craft beers. And thanks for making sure that you plugged voting and you know, just being a good friend. Thank
You're welcome.
you.
It's great seeing you.
Bye, everybody.
Yay!